now, here is James with TheYawWay.
This message is for Trevor Noah. My name is James Yaw. I write a current events political opinion blog called TheYawWay. As a general rule, I make it a policy not to direct my commentary toward any one individual. I allow people to read my blog and decide for themselves whether their response is warranted. I'm making an exception in this case. A fan, follower, and friend recently shared with me a video clip of your program in which you interviewed Tomi Lahren. Her responses to most of your questions were woefully inadequate. You deserve better than that. Now, I'm not going to address every single misstep made by Ms. Lahren, but will focus on those responses that I feel require some clarification. Number one, as a veteran, I'd like to provide a more clear and cogent response to your questions about the Colin Kaepernick national anthem controversy. So the quarterback in question here had a rough start in life by any measure. His mother was a destitute 19-year-old white girl who'd been impregnated by a black man who didn't stick around after his son was born. His mother did the only thing she felt she could do to provide for her new child and gave him up for adoption. The boy was adopted by the quintessential middle-class white family in the relatively small town of Fond du Lac, Wisconsin. And according to the 2010 census, over 90% of this town's population of just over 40,000 is white. Colin Kaepernick is 50% black, but was raised 100% white. Colin Kaepernick is claiming to understand the struggle of black people, while at the same time living a life that is the embodiment of white privilege. He is protesting the behavior of police departments while at the same time taking advantage of the traffic control and security details they provide him when he comes to their city to play for the fans. Does he refuse this protection? Does he choose to take Uber or Lyft when traveling around the rough inner-city, mostly minority neighborhoods in which the NFL plays their games? Or does he use the heavily guarded transportation offered by the league? Guards who, by the way, are provided by the very police departments he condemns through his refusal to stand for the national anthem. According to Sport Track, Colin Kaepernick makes an average of $19 million a year, and this is how he thinks he can bring about needed change for the black community. A community that he has not been a socioeconomic member of since literally the day he was born. I'm fairly certain that Mr. Kaepernick could live quite comfortably on $1 million a year. I know I could. And he could soothe his social sensibilities by donating the remaining $18 million to economic renewal projects in the inner cities he claims to care so much about. Or he could start a defense fund dedicated to providing free legal defense for members of the black community who feel they have been treated unfairly by their local constabulary. Sitting on a bench is literally the least he can do. Of course, he'll do none of these things because he's not interested in redistributing his own wealth and has grown quite accustomed to living among the super-rich San Jose, California, which, by the way, the 2010 census shows just over 3% black population in San Jose. And that's where he's chosen to live, in the house he bought for $2.7 million in 2014. Now, let's review here. Colin Kaepernick is a quarterback. That's it. A quarterback. He plays a game for a living. People give up huge portions of hard-earned paychecks to watch him play a game. At TheYawWay, we have a policy on things like this. If the word play appears anywhere in your job description, you should, at all costs, avoid overestimating your importance to or relevance in the greater society. No one who believes in uncommon sense should believe in forking over money for a ticket to your game, concert, or movie, or even to pay their cable bill just to hear your complaints about how society is mistreating people when that same society is treating you like royalty. This applies to anyone who plays a sport, plays a role in a movie or TV show, or plays an instrument as their primary occupation. American society puts celebrities on a pedestal that can be used for so much good, but is seldom used for anything other than a perch from which spoiled entertainers can feed their narcissism. If any of these artificial heroes truly cared about the issues they go out of their way to illuminate, they would be using the economic power that has been granted to them by the teeming masses of fans who will forego legitimate financial obligations to buy tickets to see them in ways that will actually bring about change. Now, the uncommon sense TheYawWay approach to this is like this. Number one, don't talk about it, be about it. Number two, don't say something if you're not willing to do something. And number 3, if you can't handle 1 and 2, then shut up and play. Now that kind of covers the Colin Kaepernick issue. But I want to talk a little bit too about, you kept going back to a question with Miss Lahren during your interview with her, where you kept asking her, how is a black man supposed to protest? Your debate with Miss Lahren was not about black people in general. It was about this particular black person and the blatant hypocrisy of how he chose to protest. As a quarterback in the NFL, he has the financial wherewithal to bring about change, but chooses to make a public spectacle which does nothing to move the debate or forward the cause. Black people in general should protest the exact same way as white people. There is no difference, and the fact that you kept asking that question leads me to believe that you think there is a difference. To suggest there is a difference is racist. When the police respond to break up a protest that has gotten out of control, they don't say, round up all the black folks first. They enforce the law and bring about order. And until we stop suggesting that there are different rules for different races, we will never make any progress toward resolving the racial divide in this country.